Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Dai, and today I'm sharing with you my thoughts on the Monochrome Manga Club series reads for the month of March. So the Monochrome Manga Club is an in-real-life manga club that I host at a local Barnes & Noble. We read 2 first-in-a-series selections, and then we also have 2 continuing series reads. So the selections for March were Kemono Jihen, Volume 1 by Sho Aimoto. This one is published by 7 Seas rated older teen. Volume 1 of Usotoki Rhetoric by Ritsu Miyako, published by One Piece Books. This does not have an age rating on the back, but I would say it's probably teen. Then our continuing series reads were Demon Slayer, Volumes 17 and 18 by Koyoharu Gotoge, published by Viz, rated teen. And then the Omnibus Volume 2 of Erased by Kei Sanbei, published by Yen Press, rated teen. So because this is a series first impressions video, I will only be talking about our 2 first in a series reads. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts on Demon Slayer and Erased, you can check out my DSIS 19 diaries that will be up on Wednesday, March 29th. So let's start off with Kemono Jihen. So this story is about, what does it say, a supernatural detective? Actually says a detective of the occult. And he comes to this town. He's hired to investigate a series of events where livestock has been dying off in a strange manner. And when he comes to the town, he notices that there is a boy that people keep referring to as Dorotabo, which is a yokai that dwells in muddy fields. And so they kind of associate that yokai with this boy. And as he's investigating this mystery, he comes to realize that maybe there might be something more to this boy than meets the eye. So this installment was actually very interesting to me. It gave me the kind of vibes that the beginning of Harry Potter gives, where you've got, Harry who's being looked down upon by his family and called names or, bullied by his cousin and things like that. That's very similar to what happens here to our character here. Dorotabo, the kid that's being called that, is actually this character here. I can't remember what his name is, but they do tell you, I believe, what it was. I can't remember right now. Kabane. I think it's Kabane. And so that was very similar to what happens to our character here. It also gave me the same vibes as the very beginning of Bungo Stray Dogs. If you're familiar with what happens in the beginning there with Atsushi, it's very similar to what happens here in the beginning of this story. So I really enjoyed that because I do enjoy Bungo Stray Dogs as a series, or at least what I've read and watched of it up until this point. So seeing that connection, or what I felt like was a connection, really made this enjoyable for me. It is different from Bungo, but I enjoyed seeing how the mystery was figured out and how our characters got to know each other, and kind of the way Kabane's life is kind of changed by the events of what happens in here. I'm really looking forward to reading more into this series because there are going to be other mysteries that our duo here solves. We also get introduced to a few other characters that we will be following throughout, I believe. And so it is really interesting. They call it a monster detective agency. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what other mysteries that come up and the things that they encounter. And there's something else about Kabane that I'm thinking is going to be looked into or expanded on as we get further into this series. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So I definitely recommend this one. I gave this one 4 stars, and we'll definitely be continuing with that. Now, Usotoki Rhetoric was one that I was very interested in. The art style is what caught my eye, first of all. And the second thing that caught my eye was the fact that this was a mystery. If you know me, you know I do like to read mysteries, not only in manga format, but in novels as well. And I thought that it being March Mystery Madness, that would definitely be a good time to pick this one up. I was a little bit concerned that this was historical because I don't normally get along with historical stories. But this particular one occurs in 1926, and we follow a girl named Urabe, and she leaves her home after kind of being bullied for the fact that she can hear lies. And so people don't like to talk to her, they don't like being around her, and so she eventually leaves on her own volition. And she ends up meeting a detective who enlists her services to help him with a case or two. And so that's kind of basically what this story is about. I really enjoyed this one. I was wondering how they were going to show like the lies. Like, were they going to use a different font, or how would we know that they were lying besides the fact that our character could hear them? So I really enjoyed the way that they laid that out for us. I was kind of afraid they were just going to be like, you know, have the people talking and then her just saying that it was a lie. But that's definitely not what happens here. You definitely know as things are happening what is a lie and what is not before our character tells you. So I enjoyed that. I thought it was done really well. I enjoyed the way the mysteries kind of came about. And I find it really interesting how the detective that enlists her services, or her ability, I would say, for his use, kind of doesn't directly like tell her, okay, go do this. He kind of puts clues in her way, and she goes and figures things out on her own. I thought that was an interesting way to do it. Obviously, she also knows when he's lying. So that's an interesting kind of thing as well, because she knows him a bit now that, you know, as they get to know each other and stuff. So she knows that during the course of his work, he does lie. I think, you know, if you read mysteries, there are times where investigators and things, even in real life, will lie to get a truth. And at first, you know, this kind of makes her uncomfortable because she doesn't like when people lie. But she's starting to realize that sometimes it's necessary. And so I'm curious to see how all of that goes. And I'm also interested to see how all of this interaction is going to change her, because being that she was treated so poorly for her ability where she was growing up, she kind of shies away from talking to people. And so meeting this detective has also opened up her like social life where she talks to more people. And so I'm really interested to see all of that. I'm interested to see her grow as a detective and see like what kinds of cases they'll be working together. The art style is still very lovely. I really, really enjoyed the art style. I enjoyed the differences in the dress as well, because we have the traditional kimono like you see here, but we also have a mixture of Western style clothing that we see other characters wearing as well. So I quite enjoyed that also. I'll definitely be continuing with this series also, and all in all, I'd say both of these volumes were very good and I highly recommend them. And so yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say on this month's selections. But before I let you go, I do want to let you know what the selections for April will be. And so the first selection is going to be Mashle, Magic and Muscles, Volume 1. This is by Hajime Kamoto. I believe this is a magical school type story where we're following a guy who has no magical ability trying to get through a school where everybody else has magical abilities. I don't know much about it, but it was recommended to me by Justin over at Just Me Plus Manga. I had asked for some recommendations for a readathon that I was doing in the month of April, and he suggested this one. I know that he quite enjoys this series, and he knows my taste pretty well. And so since I was planning on reading it anyway for the month of April, I decided that our manga club will also read it so that I can discuss it with our members. And so, yeah, that will be our first selection. I do not actually have a physical copy because I will be reading it off the Shonen Jump app, but I am looking forward to seeing what that one's all about because I will admit it was one that I had not looked into. So, yes, we will be reading Volume 1 of Mashal, and then we will also be reading Volume 1 of Malevolent Spirits Monogatari, story and art by Oni Gunso. This one's published by 7 Seas, rated teen. So this one is about a guy who really dislikes the spirits that dwell within old objects. Apparently, in his past, they robbed him of something precious, and so he uses his supernatural abilities to try to wipe them out. Well, his grandfather sends him to live with a girl who lives in a house full of these spirits. And so this story kind of follows him living with this girl and seeing if he might be able to overcome his anger towards these spirits for what had happened to him in the past. So I am quite looking forward to this one. This also says it's a supernatural battle action fantasy manga that inspired the anime. So I have not seen the anime, but I'll probably be looking into it. And I'm really looking forward to reading this volume. So that's our second volume one. We will also be continuing our series read of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba with volumes 19 and 20. And then we will be continuing Erased with the Omnibus Volume 3. So, that is everything that I have for you today. Let me know down in the comments below if you've read Kemono Jihen or Usotoki Rhetoric, what you thought of them, and if you would continue those series, or if you plan on checking out these series. I'd like to know that as well. If you are interested in reading any of the Monochrome Manga Club selections, I do have a Discord, so even though I meet with my members in real life, there is a Discord open, so if you'd like to read any of the selections and come and chat with us about your thoughts on them, you're welcome to do that. I open up the discussion threads on the Discord the day after our Manga Club meeting, so definitely come share your thoughts on any of the volumes that we read, and feel free to read any of them and chat with us there. We will not be having a meeting in April, but we will be discussing our thoughts in the discussion threads. So all of my members will be in the threads discussing our thoughts there. So like I said, if you're interested in reading any of the selections, definitely come and chat with us there. You're more than welcome to. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a flower type emoji. There's lots of pretty flowers on this cover. Down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.